After optimizing hundreds of businesses on Google Business Profile and speaking to people that are in the know on what really goes on in Google's algorithm, I came to a conclusion that I've yet to put together a video that explains some really basic principles and tips. A video that answers some common questions out there that you've got and you keep asking. We'll get some inside knowledge from some experts.
And I think it's a great time to invest in it.
So in this video, we're going to look at what actually is worth doing today.
And it becomes even more important with the dawn of AI-generated content.
So these tips, along with a few others that I throw into the pot, are going to help you build your business and get it growth for long-term success. So let's dive straight in. Tip number one, services can rank too. Now there's often this idea that unless you're a shop, you're not going to be found on Google Maps, and that's not true. Google can also rank services. Let's just take 1 second out to explain how it works. So basically Google has algorithms. It's not just one algorithm, but it's several different algorithms. So if you're using Google Search, it'll be a different algorithm to the one for, say, Google Maps. Or if you're looking for a local search, it may be different to a national search. Google's intelligently trying to work out which algorithm to serve up the results with. And sometimes they overlap as well. So rather than thinking that you're optimizing for one algorithm, you need to bear in mind that Google Business Profile is a different algorithm to, say, a national organic SEO effort. And advertising is different again. So keeping these separate in the way in which you think is going to help you then make good progress when it comes to optimizations. Most business owners just want to be found locally and nationally and just get found everywhere. And that's the problem, is it kind of overlaps with different algorithms in that thinking. And then what happens is some just don't bother at all for a while because they say, well, I didn't get any success. Well, interestingly, in a moment, I'm going to show you some results of what happens if you don't bother optimizing your Google Business Profile after you've spent some time optimizing it. Some interesting results there. But speaking to Darren Shaw the other day from White Spark, he said this is one of the biggest questions he gets asked as well. So over to Darren answering this question: how can services rank in every single suburb around their city?
Yeah, I would say that the answer is you have a few options. So ranking, Google will only rank a Google Business Profile within a fairly tight radius. It varies based on your competition around your address. And even if your address is hidden on Google, it's based around the address that your business was verified at. Every Google Business Profile does have an address associated with it, and that is where your rankings are based on. So if you want to rank in a 50-mile, 50-kilometer radius, you're going to have a very hard time. So what you can do is actually open up new locations, but those locations would have to be staffed during opening hours, like in real, have signage, be a legitimate business, legitimate location, very expensive, hard to do. You could get into the local packs in all those surrounding areas with Google Local Ads. That's different than Google Local Services ads. So you could definitely buy the ads and just targeted placement in the local packs and maps. You can do that. You could target those areas organically. So instead of trying to get into local packs and maps, you could build location specific, we call them city pages or neighborhood pages. You could build those pages on your website and rank in the blue links that are under the pack or sometimes above the pack. So you could target those organically. And I think that's it. I think that's all.
Well, that's brilliant advice, Darren. Thank you for that. So before we go on to the next few tips, I just wanted to share with you something that Dean Ayer from GBP Pilot sent me the other day. And in this email, he just revealed to me an interesting situation. He showed that if you stop optimizing Google Business Profile, it does show. And interestingly, the businesses he optimized for weren't seasonal. So we can rule that out because it was to do with a walk-in clinic, mental health clinics. He was optimizing for those. And after pausing or stopping the optimization for a few months, you can now see what happened. It pretty clearly shows that things fade out rather quickly if you don't keep updating the Google Business Profile. Google likes to see a business profile being kept up to date, and the majority of business owners, they spend a month or two and then they forget to optimize their business. And as you can see from these results that Darren shared with us, that really calls, bookings, they were coming through, they then dry up once the optimization stopped. Now later on in this video, I'm going to show you also how you can get extra things to help as well, to get calls, get directions, a schedule button. All those things, eye-catching images, are also going to help bring in traffic. I'll come on to that later in the video if we get time. But now on to tip number 2. And this is all about EEAT and using EEAT more than ever before. Why is it more important than ever before? Well, AI is making it even more important that you become an expert, that you're trustworthy, that you're an authority. In fact, the EEAT stands for experience, expertise, authority and trustworthiness. Now again, I was speaking to Darren to see what his thoughts were on EEAT, whether he felt it was necessary if you want to help a business grow locally. This is what he had to say.
Yes, and I think it's a great time to invest in it because it can be a competitive advantage. If you look at most small business blogs, small business websites, you don't see the author, you don't see the person behind that, and you often don't see them talking about their own experience, their own expertise, what makes them the best plumber in, Manchester. All these things, like when you do take that time to put that on your page, you talk about your credentials, you really anchor every page of content to an expert, to an author. That is a competitive advantage because most of your competition is not doing it. And it becomes even more important with the dawn of AI-generated content. AI content can't do that. Google is trying to sort out, and they're going to have this huge problem where the web is being flooded with regurgitated content, all same. It all looks the same because it's all coming from the same source, and the AI source can only say things in so many different ways. So the way that you differentiate is going to be really tied to the EEAT signals, and you send those by being original, being authoritative, talking about your expertise. So I actually think that there's no better time to start thinking about that and integrating it into your local SEO strategy. Very important.
Absolutely, you're right there, Darren, and I totally agree with that too. Would you also agree though that you need to have video? YouTube again shows you're trustworthy, it shows you're a real person.
100%, yeah. So it's a really great point. That video itself, it's like you can't fake it. It's you talking to the camera, and Google's algorithms, they're working hard. They're smartest company in the world. They're trying to figure this out. How do we differentiate between AI content and real human-generated content? And that video transcripts, it's beautiful. It's perfect. That was definitely written by a human. Although then the AI is going to be able to make theirs look exactly like that. So I don't know. I don't know how long we've got left here before the AI just completely takes over.
So trust by using video is another important factor. One of the reasons why I'm doing this YouTube channel was because my web design needed to be marketed, and marketing is often done now through video. And now here we are on YouTube. Now tip number 3 is a controversial one because for many years I've said that keywords in a title for a business, particularly on Google Business Profile, I've avoided it, and I still don't think it's the right thing to do. But interesting, there's some controversy here because it still gives an important ranking factor. And the reason I thought it was perhaps dangerous was because possibly you could be suspended if you had keywords in your reported, and then Google recognizes it and then removes it. But interesting what Darren had to say on this, as he had recently spoken to some other insiders in Google.
So keywords in the business name, actually I've just been chatting about this with various local search experts, and I asked them a whole bunch of people that are really tied in to Google. They're all Google business product experts. How often does Google suspend a listing for having keywords in the business name? This is a great question. Never. Almost never. Google does not ever proactively suspend. You could, what they do is they take the keywords out of the name. They will do that if you get reported, which of course then the business owner can put it back in. But the only thing if you have other problems on your listing, like problems with your address, it doesn't look like a real business, then that can trigger the report, and then they see the other problem, then you get suspended for that. But you're not actually getting suspended for keywords in the business name. Google will just take them up. That's not your business name. They'll take them out. So it's very hard to get suspended for this, which is why this ban is so rampant. But it does make me wonder, if the risk is so low and the reward is so high, putting those keywords in your business name, you might want to do it.
So it appears that keywords aren't actively causing a suspension for the majority of businesses. But what you do need to do, of course, as I mentioned earlier, is you do need to make sure your business stands out for all the right reasons. So booking buttons, direction buttons, making sure that your business is optimized, gives off the right signals. All those things are tips that I've also done in this video here. So have a look at this video and see how well optimized images and booking buttons will get you more business too. So I'll see you on that video.